injury doubts for today's match has made it. Top scorer Clive Mendonca will play, but two didn't. Number 2, Tony Ford, replacing John McDermott at right back, and number 7, Gary Childs, in on the right side of midfield in place of Tommy Watson. Villa, who needed a Dean Saunders penalty to win away at Exeter in the last round, are unchanged for the third successive game. Another chance then for Tony Daly to exploit his pace down the left flank. Saunders and Atkinson up front have so far scored 21 goals, and 5 of the team have already been FA Cup winners with clubs like Liverpool, Manchester United and Everton. Ian Hemley of Bedfordshire is the referee, and although these two teams have been taking part in the FA Cup since the last century, this is the first time they've met in this competition. And here's Grimsby with the first attack. And the attempted shot from top scorer Mendonca was deflected, that took the pace off it, and now Tony Daly with the ditch on the right wrist, trying to get down that touchline for the first time. Average gates here are just over 6,000, but this afternoon it's just under 16, bringing record receipts of £120,000. Tim Dobbin and Charles. This is Livingston. Well, he'd have had to do well to have beaten a keeper of the quality of Mark Bosnich from there, but it was an indication of the striker's instinct for goal. Only one thing in his mind when that ball fell to him. Off the head of Handysides. Futchi who knocks it up. And there was a little flick on from Mendonca, and Bosnich forced to come out of his area. Grimsby currently 18th in the first division. That's a free kick. And meeting a Villa side who slipped down to 10th in the Premier League, having been as high as 2nd as recently as November. But Villa have only taken 9 points from the last 30 in the Premier League. Croft onto it quickly and gets it back. A neat little back heel as well. Groves. It's broken to Livingston. He managed to get in the shot, but he was under all sorts of pressure from Sean Teal. Livingston, whose father Joe used to be a professional player back in the 60s, went for the foot of the near post. Tony Ford, who'd stayed forward, looking for Livingston, and he took it. Got Mendonca behind him, but he's facing the wrong way. Not sure if that's exactly what he intended. May have just been trying to cut it back into the penalty area. In the end, it was only just over the bar. Ron Atkinson standing up already. Delian Atkinson. Teal. Straight to Tony Ford. And it's Grimsby who are showing the most flair and imagination in these first 10 minutes. Childs again. Livingston, oh, he nearly got it back to him. Groves. Tony Ford available out on the right. This is pleasing to the home crowd. Well, he'll do well to outrun Daly. And it's Villa who get the throw. And maybe Tony Ford would have done better to have just knocked that in at the first opportunity, rather than trying to outrun the Villa player. This is Townsend. And cut out by Futchi. This is Dobbin. Childs. Well, didn't quite work that time. Saunders leaves it. Well, looks as though he was going to leave it for Atkinson, but now here's Atkinson testing the pace of Handysides, and he's got away from Peter Handysides. Houghton's in the middle, must score. 1-0 Villa, and it was clinical. Ray Houghton milks the praise. His 4th goal of the season, but number 5, Peter Handysides, was just caught out by the persistence and the strength and the pace of Delian Atkinson. And that's a big disappointment for the 19-year-old Scottish under-21 international. And maybe it's an early warning as well of the quality that there is in the Villa side, and having taken that lead early in the match, that will help Villa to settle the nerves, and maybe this cup tie at Grimsby won't be the ordeal that it might otherwise have been. Alan Buckley, well, he's enjoyed giant-killing exploits in the FA Cup as a player. Groves back to Futcher. Teal took an elbow then from Livingston. I don't think there can be any doubt about it. He reacted very angrily and Livingston responded, and that was a very ugly flashpoint. And at first judgment from a commentary box, Livingston guilty of jumping with his elbows up, and that's something which is a real talking point in the game, which both the Professional Footballers Association and the FA and the Football League indeed are trying to stamp out. And Teal, I'm sure, is getting his point across that the head-to-head afterwards was a direct result of the elbow, and the shirt on his back is in absolute tatters. I mean, there was real anger in the flashpoint. And what will Ian Hemley decide is the fitting punishment for either player. And there's looks of concern on the face of Ron Atkinson, because there must be a possibility of both of them going. And the way Sean Teal's reacting, that is the outcome, and that is a disappointing incident early on in a match which had been entertaining and good football. But the elbow was up, there can't be any question of that, and Teal was very angry, having taken one across the bridge of the nose. What followed, the referee decided, was unforgivable, and they're both off. That'll be a very big disappointment to Sean Teal, I can tell you. And maybe, well, the referee will feel he's acted in the letter of the law, but maybe a firm word would have been a better outcome. Maybe the yellow card for Livingston. But it's 2 teams of 10 who will have to battle out the remaining 3 quarters of this match. Townsend. And Houghton up to Townsend. And for the moment, Villa have pulled Kevin Richardson back to play in the heart of the defence alongside McGrath. They've got Neil Cox and Dwight York on the substitutes bench. And yes, Villa have decided instantly to make a change. Cox is a more accomplished defender. He comes on to replace Tony Daly. And now it looks as if Earl Barrett has moved into the centre of defence. Cox has gone right back. And Richardson has resorted to midfield again. There's Neil Cox, former Scunthorpe trainee, so he's local to the area. Childs tried to tee somebody up. It was behind Childs. Gilbert's on it. Another corner. And the double sending off seems to have unsettled Villa a little bit more than Grimsby at the moment. Corner taken short. Here's Ford. Good left foot ball in, and there were 2 right in on Bosnich. And all of them missed it. Well, that could absolutely have gone anywhere, couldn't it? And Donker was in, so too was Paul Groves. They both missed it, as did the keeper. Here's Groves. Only Mendonca ahead of him. That's for Mendonca to chase. Barrett's sprinting across to cover him. Groves peels off. This is Childs. Pulled it down very well. Ford. Again, it's good football from Grimsby. Oh, Mendonca. He looked as if he was pushed. And Grimsby have appealed. Ford, who knocked it in. Now, how much contact was there between him and Earl Barrett? maybe not that much. And that looks like Dwight York taking off the bottom half of the tracksuit, which may mean another substitution. This is the moment when Dean Saunders picked up his injury. Nobody was near him at the time. It was a twist, maybe in the small of the back, but it's sufficient to mean that Dean Saunders cannot continue, and so Dwight York will come on. So Villa have been forced to use both their outfield substitutes. Butcher, as we move into a second minute of stoppage time in this first half. Half-time, Villa lead by 1-0. The slip by Peter Handysides, which allowed Atkinson in, and he delivered the ball to Ray Houghton. But Villa going off at half-time without three of the players who started the match. Teal sent off, Saunders injured, and Daly pulled off as well. So there's a lot of talking to do in the dressing room for Ron Atkinson, even though his team lead here by 1-0. Grimsby have only suffered one home defeat here at Blundell Park this season, beaten here 1-0 by Charlton back in October. But equally, they've only won 3 of 12 home league games in Division 1, and most of their results here have been drawn. 12 matches drawn in all out of 26. So, on that evidence, a draw the most likely outcome against Villa. We shall see if they can finally get a goal. And Neil Cox. Some of the passion has just gone out of this match. And that will be of benefit to Villa, I would have thought. A goal to the good. To out-jump Mendonca. This is Childs. Nice touch by Groves. Barrett had covered him. Groves got away from him. Groves. Grimsby have equalised. And it's always been on the cards. And it's as if somebody has suddenly ignited the whole of the crowd. There was the first touch from Groves. And then Barrett looked favourite, but somehow he tucked it round him, and he beat Bosnich for his 7th goal of the season. And with over half an hour left to play, the team from Division 1 have it back level, 1 apiece, against the team from the Premier Division. Groves got a bit of it, Barrett lost it. Who had the last touch? Corner. And it's Gilbert who's jogging across to take this for Grimsby. Tony Ford is close to him, but looks as if he's going to knock it into the box. That was technically short. Gilbert again. Flick on by Groves, McGrath, and Villa survive. And Butcher will have to use the keeper. McGrath again the saviour, and it was Groves who got the little flick on, and McGrath who acrobatically got it out. Ray Houghton. Richardson free in the middle. That was Gilbert who got into him. Charles. Groves, who's shown some good touches. Mendonca with McGrath. Oh, Paul McGrath, immaculate. And didn't that little moment just sum up what a good match McGrath's had and how important he's been to them? Here's Atkinson, who's peeled away from Butcher. Dwight York out wide on the left, just the two of them forward. There's nobody else here for Villa. Maybe they don't need anybody else. Dwight York. It's a killer blow. It's cruel, but Villa lead by 2-1. And Dwight York, only his third appearance of the season, only used as a substitute twice in recent matches, and then on this afternoon when he was required. Handy side slipped, he went wide of Butcher, and from just inside the penalty area beat Crichton at the foot of the post. It was an excellent goal with 12 minutes left, and it's given Villa that little bit of space in which to breathe. But that goal came only seconds after what for me was a match-saving tackle by Paul McGrath at the other end. Under real pressure from Mendonca, he just got his foot on it and got it back to his keeper. Dwight York, back to Ray Houghton. Shakespeare in pursuit. And the ball off the Grimsby player. Villa with another throw. And a few more seconds each left. Dwight York. Villa in full voice as the match moves into stoppage time. Cox. Dwight York, the goal scorer, in possession on the final whistle. Ron Atkinson's team are through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, but it was a close-run thing. And both sets of supporters applaud what's been a really fine match. McGrath was absolutely outstanding in the second half. The goal from Paul Groves kept the Grimsby dream alive for 21 minutes until Dwight York knocked in that second Villa goal on 78 minutes. When Villa had been pressed back on defence for long spells. In the end, another tidy performance by Villa, who had to win away at Exeter in the 3rd round, and winning away here at First Division Grimsby in round 4. Dwight York accepts all the congratulations, and it's a happy journey home for Aston Villa. Final score, Grimsby 1, Aston Villa 2.